Hey everybody, EchoV here, and I don't think I need to tell you just how many games there were on the original PlayStation 1. Heck, I'd argue that there's more hidden gems in this console than there are any other video game console out there. Seriously, raise your hand if you remember games like Einhander or RC Stuntcopter. And if you did raise your hand, congratulations! Get your back checked, please. So for this video, I'll be talking about a game that, in my eyes, is another example of a hidden gem for one of the best game consoles out there, the Unholy War. Or maybe it isn't to you, I don't know, but I'm still gonna talk about it anyway, so here we go! The Unholy War was released back in September 23, 1998 for North America, and a month later on October 30 for Europe. The game was published by Eidos Interactive and developed by Toys for Bob, who, depending where you stand, either helped provide the Crash Bandicoot series with It's About Time, or was responsible for a slow dazzle Spyro Dragon with the accursed Skylanders franchise. Yeah, I'm still holding it against them even after all these years. Anyway, to make a long story short, the game is set on the planet Exhilarate, or Zara, I don't know. One day, the Technos crash land this planet in order to flee from the hunters. You know, your usual, powerful, alien race hell-bent on killing that one specific race for whatever reason. Maybe the arcade stole their cookies or got their nose, I don't know. Anyway, while hiding from the hunters, the Technos discovered a material called R and decided to take it for themselves. The natives of the planet, the Arcanes, however, don't exactly like the idea, so they band together and wage war. I'm pretty sure there's a deep analogy for this whole thing, but that's not important right now, is it? Upon booting the game, we're met with this robotic spider. I don't know the story of this thing or what it is, but it's still out there as one of the coolest main menus in gaming in my opinion. The game has two modes, Mayhem and Strategy. Mayhem is the free-for-all battles, while Strategy is more akin to a tabletop game, and what you want to play if you want a deep dive to the story. Imagine booting up Smash Bros. For the first time, and aside from battling with the characters, you can also play a game of Warhammer using the characters, because that's exactly what the game modes felt like to me. I definitely recommend going through Mayhem mode first, just to get a feel of the characters and the stages the game has to offer. Whichever mode you pick allows for a decent amount of customization, which side you want to play, the number of players, and the difficulty of the AI, to even the stages you can play at, and whether or not you choose to fight on one stage or cycle through each one. I wish fighting games had this level of customization as well, honestly. Before each fight, not only are you free to choose whichever character you want, you can also press square to get a quick dossier on each one, including their abilities and strengths and weaknesses to each member of the opposing faction. I like this a lot. It really adds a layer of planning so you know which ones to use immediately and which ones you should keep in reserve for later use. Battles are done in an elimination style with any remaining health and energy points carried over to the next match. Controls are simple actually. You use directionals to move, X to jump or hold to fly, and the remaining buttons are used for your character's abilities at the expense of a certain amount of energy, which does replenish over time so long as you're grounded, so flying units will have to occasionally land to recover energy. Additionally, at random intervals, there are the occasional power-ups that spawn, ranging from super jump, health recovery, unlimited energy, and even invincibility, and picking up just one of these can easily turn the time to battle immensely, so be on the lookout. Oh, and don't let the varying number of HP and energy deter you from using what you want. Each attack actually does a set amount of damage, so it hardly matters if a character has 50 or 100 HP. You're doing the same amount of damage regardless. And while I'm not the kind of person who can easily point out whether or not a game is properly balanced or not, just playing one round is enough for literally anyone to see just how insanely unbalanced this game is. Battles in this game can last from just a few seconds to minutes, and it's all dependent on the two fighters involved. Just fighting against one flyer can be agonizingly painful and time consuming, because while almost every character has a projectile to compensate, it hardly reaches them when they're at the max time of their flight. There are matches where I even had to pause and take a break because of how ridiculously long they were getting, and how painful my headache was. The Fire Witch in this game is the biggest offender, because not only is she a flyer, but she is, to my knowledge, the only one who can replenish energy mid-flight, which means that she can stay in the air indefinitely. She is practically giving every other flyer in this game the middle finger whenever she plays. She's lucky that none of the other flyers in this game know water moves. Battles can get so chaotic that it can sometimes end in a tie, forcing both sides to start with new fighters. How often do you see that in these kinds of games? Not much, I can tell. Actually, it's not just the characters who are imbalanced, even the stages feel unbalanced. There are stages in this game that I swear is tailor-made for certain characters, while being unfairly balanced to others. And something tells me the AI knows this very well, and knows just who to pick if they're available for use. There is a hidden alliance in this game between the AI and the stage, and by God, I am going to unearth it somehow. Actually, now that I think about it, I hate the movement in this game. Just trying to get the perfect position to attack or even pick up a power-up feels like I'm constantly on ice. I just want to get a power-up, but no. My character decides to do a pirouette routine for the Olympics. Even just applying the tiniest bit of pressure on my D-pad is enough for my character to zoom off like it's going shopping and never returning. Seriously, it's like my own controller hates me. And once you go through all of that chaos, you are greeted with the results screen, with a score that I think is based on the number of fighters you have remaining, as well as the remaining HP of your last fighter. And that's it! No fanfares, no nothing, just an option to restart the whole thing. Gee, thanks game. And before we move on, and I know it's a bit late, but how about some of the characters in the game? A lot of them are actually unique with their moveset. With the Arcanes, there's the aforementioned Fire Witch, who can not only stay in the air indefinitely, but can also dive bomb for massive damage at the cost of slow recovery. There's also the Prana Devil, who is not only the guy on the cover, but can also latch on to the opponent for prolonged damage, and even hatch babies to attack. Now that's what I call fresh out of the womb. And of course, who can forget the Brontu, a six-legged rhino who is the bane of any land fighter with its quick charges and gas. Yeah, let's just leave it at that, okay? And for the Technos, a lot of them may lack in power, but there are still some powerhouses out there, such as the Jaeger, who is arguably the best one, who can fire homing missiles, shoot lasers, and even deliver a wicked punch that just launches things. Razorfane, the love child of the Terminator and the Chainsaw, who can launch razor saws and probably is my favorite voice in the game, and the Kill Cycle. Not my favorite, honestly, because it runs out of energy quickly and its moves is kinda lame, with the bombs that the AI can somehow dodge 90% of the time, even on easy. But he does have a kamikaze attack, which sacrifices his own life for a massive amount of damage. Overall, the key is knowing who to use and when to use. I know I ranted about how the AI somehow knows this strategy, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it to your own advantage. And now that we're done with Mayhem mode, let's get into strategy mode, shall we? Strategy mode plays like any other strategy game out there. You have starts and units, all of whom have a set number of steps per turn. And when two opposing fighters are next to each other, a battle can ensue. And you just gotta love the battle poses that occur before every match. They didn't have to do it, but I appreciate that they did anyway. Unlike other strategy games out there, the strategy mode in this game is unique, where you can only move 3 of your units at a time. This adds a layer of strategy on who you should move. Sounds simple, right? Well, it is until you introduce R and bases into the mode. Remember R? It's the currency in this mode and can only be mined on certain spots of the map, most of which is a considerable distance away, and each unit brings in a set of R per turn, so you'll need to know which one of your units is best suited for the job. R has 2 main functions in this mode. One is of course to create new units at your base, with some costing more than others. Additionally, R can be used to activate a unit's special ability. This can range from damaging your opponent from a distance, creating an impassable barrier, to even healing your own units for a set number of HP. Of course, Do keep in mind that all of this is counted in the 3 units per turn, so knowing when to use his abilities is yet another key to guarantee a victory. Additionally, strategy mode reveals more of the story, all of which is told by a being only known as the Observer. The game reveals that the initial battle went on for decades, only to end in a complete standstill with no clear victor in sight. Talk about a letdown. As a response, the two factions declare a truce with the only condition that no child from either faction is ever born. You already know where this is going. And of course, because we can't have nice things even in a video game, that is what almost happens when two rebels flee to have a child. Do people just not follow rules anymore, even in space? Anyway, they get caught and separate, but had that child been born, all of Zara would have been destroyed. Why exactly would a child being born destroy an entire planet? Honestly, I don't know. War truces are like that sometimes. Just one thing can pretty much destroy all of life itself. I guess just part of the course and all that. And once you go through all of that, depending on the difficulty you beat strategy mode and with what team, you get unlockables for all your troubles. Beat it on normal, and you get 2 stages to fight on mayhem mode. And if you have the patience to beat it on hard mode, you get fighters, the beta readers for the Technos, and the mega product for the arcade, and no wonder they're hard mode rewards. These things are weapons of mass destruction, holy god. Or if you're like me and ran out of time because you had a deadline, you can use a cheat code. If it makes you feel better, because the game lacks a save option, resetting the game removes it. Plus, you can only use one cheat at a time, so yay for fair play, I guess. And if you can believe it, we're not even done yet. Seriously, I thought after I was done with strategy mode, I could just end the review right there and give my overall thoughts. But nope, there's still more to this game. As it turns out, after doing some research, this game was used as a basis for another fighting game called Majokko Daisakusen Little Witch Mischief, a Japanese exclusive game released in 1999. As you can figure out, this is a fighting game similar to the Unholy War, also developed by Toys for Bobs and played the same way. Only this time, it features various magical girl anime instead. I mean, what the hell do you want me to say? Literally everything I said about the Unholy War applies here as well. The Product Devil is literally in the game as an enemy, and it's fighting a magical girl! It just speaks for itself. I don't need that anymore. Overall, I'd say this game is still pretty good. Yes, it's very unbalanced, but that hardly stopped me from enjoying the game at all. If anything, it made me enjoy the game even more by helping me properly strategize and think on when to use each fighter. How often do you actually hear that in a fighting game, where you're free to use whatever character you please and when you want to use them? Not often, I'm willing to bet, but when it does happen, the game rewards you for mix and matching to the proper fighter, and that makes it all the more worth it to me. And that's it for this video. Any thoughts you have in this game, and did you ever play it for yourself? Keep the conversation rolling in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and turn on notifications so you know when new videos will be coming out. Or don't. I'm not your parent, so I can't exactly tell you what to do. Thanks so much for watching. If it's your birthday today, then happy birthday. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone, be good to each other.